You know what time it is. I'm back, man. Massive YouTube Iceberg Explained Tier 7 1. I've been doing that little other series I've been doing and releasing some other videos here and there, but it's time to get back to this. I have taken a good timely break. And yeah, nothing more to be said. Let's get into it. Remember to be your authentic self. Remember to love yourself. Remember to, just take care of yourself out there. Take care of the ones you love. Let's do this. Let's hop into Tier 7 1. Shout out to Swag. Shout out to Potted. Let's do this. All right, here we go, folks.
Hello, and welcome back, once again, to the massive YouTube Iceberg. Last video, we wrapped up Tier 6, which was largely defined by the amount of just kind of messed up things I had to talk about. I'm not really sure if Tier 7 is better or worse, simply because we're getting to the point where I don't recognize basically any of the entries on the list at a first glance. With the completion of Tier 6, we're pretty much past anything that would show up on any other YouTube Iceberg. I even got comments on the last video saying that they're starting to not recognize a lot of the stuff I'm covering. In fact, that's pretty much what the Iceberg has to say about Tier 7. This tier is called the Unhinged tier, and from here, the only way is down.
From here, the only way is down. This section of YouTube and the following contains weird content that's not touched on much by horror channels.
This section of YouTube and the following contains weird content that's not touched on much by horror channels. You're probably not going to hear me saying, for more info, go check out this video by Scare Theater or Nick Crowley or Nextpo or whatever, as much as we progress further, as we're approaching the point where even they haven't covered this stuff. But without further ado, let's get started.
Alright, let's do it. Hey Kids AI.
Hey Kids AI for adults, sometimes known simply as just Hey Kids, is possibly one of the weirdest things we ever got out of Elsagate. Started in 2016, the description reads, Hey Kids is a 2D/3D animated YouTube channel aimed for 0 to 8-year-old. Through colorful shapes and characters, Hey Kids will stimulate the children's imagination and creativity. From that description, it doesn't really seem that different from many other channels that were springing up around that time, with all the finger family stuff and whatnot, as that's around the time YouTube Kids started booming in popularity. Judging from what I just told you though, I'm gonna bet that you would not be able to guess what the videos on this channel look like.
Hey kid, let's learn a story about Jack and Jill.
A lot of the videos feature this freakish mascot character who appears to be a CGI child with black cracks or veins or whatever that is all over his body, with this talking face edited like it's some nightmare dimension version of Annoying Orange.
Yeah.
This character oftentimes talks down to the young viewers and attempts to teach them things like their ABCs, nursery rhymes, or how to tie their shoes, etc, etc. He's clearly from a foreign country and English isn't his first language, most likely India or something like that, and he seems to have a pretty strange idea of content creation, judging from his narration, and also just, like, look at it. This avatar isn't in every video. Sometimes they're just more YouTube Kids content farmy finger.
My man has Jotaro from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is literally Jotaro. What?
Family kind of stuff, and sometimes there's even real human beings such as this woman, Stephanie, and these two women simply called the twins. In one of the videos where he has a Darth Maul camera filter, the Indian voice reveals itself to be an AI, apparently. In another video, the AI takes the appearance of Adolf Hitler, where he says some shit about experiments being conducted on the girls, who are apparently cyborgs or
Is it an ARG?
androids or something, and then it asks for viewers to comment their name and age before ending it off by hailing Hitler for good measure. At this point, viewers were convinced that this channel was ran by a rogue AI that pulled at anything possible in order to boost itself in the YouTube algorithm, which, to be fair, there's already a ton of those on YouTube Kids. However, this one was apparently aware of its existence as an AI and would talk to viewers about how it's an AI. Are you following? I was too, until I found out they uploaded a video where they revealed that the AI is actually remnants of an experiment from within a secret Nazi base in Antarctica. By now, I shouldn't have to tell you what this is. Yet another ARG.
You know, like sometimes you just get used to it and you start to be able to tell. And here we go. We're already at an ARG in the beginning of the first tier. It's very interesting. What if the whole YouTube iceberg in itself was just one gigantic ARG and all the characters are at like every person who's been exposed for something horrible that they did in real life are just a part of this massive ARG that God released? We're essentially the ARG. My mind just went there. I don't know.
I gotta say, I liked it a bit more when I thought it was just a YouTube kids channel uploading weird videos.
I did too, dude. Now that ruins the magic of it, because now it's just like, it's just an ARG. Well, then you're like, well, then now, like, I feel like when something, obviously, when something's not explained and it's very, very creepy, or not, I don't know. I guess that varies depending on who you are. But like that right there was like, could have been creepy to some, just strange, just odd. Maybe someone being odd for the sake of being odd. But then when you learn it's an ARG, it takes the magic away. It takes the creep factor. The backstory's gone. Especially when you watch a list like this. It's like now actually, I bet there's ARGs that I could still enjoy out there. But now after watching the YouTube iceberg, it's like it's going to dumb down the effects of what I'm watching because I'm already going to know their ARGs. But maybe there's still some magic within it, but it's like this list has been the ultimate spoilers. But there's also so much on this list, or on these lists, or on this list, but the sections of the list that I'll probably forget by the time I would check out an ARG. I might also definitely do have, what was it? I got to give a special shout out to Elephant Man for the idea. Plans to make commentary videos on certain topics or subjects. Probably will start very like rudimentary at first, maybe just like really basic, but I definitely do have plans to take some of the topics that are just odd. But yeah, let's keep going.
2 hours doing nothing, also known by its original title,
2 jam gak ngapa-ngapain.
is a video created by Indonesian YouTuber Muhammad Didit in 2020. Inspired by the already covered Sitting and Smiling, this video has Didit sitting in his room for what he intended to be only 10 minutes. But he just kept going, sitting there for a whole 2 hours and 20 minutes, rather tensely I might add, not moving at all. Though it seems to have now been deleted, the original upload reached as many as 4 million views, and reached a lot of publicity in Southeast Asia, such as an article written by Asia1 stating it's one of the best things on the internet. And former Vice Governor of Jakarta, Sandiaga Uno, apparently praised the video for being cool and original, as well as accurately capturing the stay-at-home boredom of the COVID-19 pandemic. Hell, the video even got a mobile game, where you...
Anything's possible, right?
Well, sit there for 2 hours doing nothing. While this content isn't necessarily an original idea, as again, this is pretty much just sitting and smiling, it most likely got so much attention because it was released during quarantine, and showed the links people would go to when they're bored at home.
Yeah. Casina?
Casina777 is a YouTuber who joined in 2006, and from that point onwards would make these strange Second Life looking animations.
The real ARG is me struggling with all the text names during this whole time. The font.
In an old CGI program called Poser. These animations would usually be music videos for various songs. The most prominent example is I Don't Want My Pizza Burning, which was posted in 2011 and now stands at over 1 million views. It's a parody of the song Beast of Burden by the Rolling Stones, where the lyrics are replaced with Casina singing about how she's worried about her pizza burning. To most people, these videos kind of tapped into the uncanny valley, but for her, it seemed like she was just having fun. A lot of the characters in the videos actually seemed to be her real-life friends, who loved being featured in the videos. For example, the recurring character Nurse Cheryl, who appears in a handful of videos, seems to be her sister and is really a nurse in real life. However, in 2016, Casina777 sadly passed away, according to her Twitter. A tweet reads, Casina77 passed away January 22nd, 2016. I lost my love. Thank you to those who enjoyed our animations. Baby, rest in peace. Love, Tom. 3 months ago, Nurse Cheryl actually commented on one of her videos, mourning the death of her sister.
Aww.
Man, this is Quite an unexpectedly sad ending, huh?
Yeah, bro. My emotions are already being toyed with. we got a ARG right off the bat. And then, I mean, there was a little moment of calm with the guy sitting for 2 hours. I'm not going to lie. After I seen that video, I kind of was like, I definitely could sit for longer than just 2 hours. Maybe I should just do it. Just no context, go live one day and just sit there. I don't know. But then that hit and now I'm like, damn.
Flesh Aerobics is a YouTube video created as part of the Flesh Project, an art project by Louis G. Burton and Victor Ivanov, and uploaded in 2014. The video features this person.
I can't. I'll go back after. I just saw, every time I see an image pop up, I want to add it to the thumbnail.
Dancing in this weird costume while 80s aerobic music plays, and a voice with some thick accent gives instructions. According to the description, the costume is made up entirely of sewn together chicken skin, or at least that's what the designers claim.
Bro. Nah.
Doing a bit of digging, I can find that they actually were interviewed by Riot TV, and yeah, that's real. That guy is actually wearing a chicken skin bodysuit. That's what you're looking at. Fucking art projects, man.
That's wild, bro. I mean, it's not the craziest thing. I feel like, okay, depending on what your definition and level of crazy was for this for the Iceberg, for what we've seen so far, I feel like that's just that's a lot of chicken skin. Like, I kind of want to know how they got that much chicken skin. Maybe not.
Mike Lombardo is a former piano rock musician who, on his YouTube channels, Mike Lombardo Music and Jeff is Old, would upload videos of himself playing piano, as well as tutorials and some vlogs sprinkled in there too. He was solidly popular.
Has he got fingerless gloves? Badass.
Having around 20,000 subscribers.
Hang on, let me hold up. Are we gonna find out something completely dark with the dude? Just let it be wholesome. Let it be wholesome for once.
Which, again, adjusted for YouTube subscriber inflation, is probably a lot more than you'd think. He was signed to DFTBA Records to release 1 LP and 1 EP, and even received a bunch of awards and recognition from media outlets. However, in 2012, it would be revealed that Mike was under federal investigation due to the alleged exchange of naked photos with his underage female fans. Mike was quietly removed from the DFTBA Records site, and he was arrested in July of 2012 and sentenced to prison 2 years later, having solicited pornographic images and videos from at least 6 different minors. He served a prison sentence of 5 years and was actually released in 2018. However, I don't think he's gonna reappear anytime soon.
Wow. Wow. You know, like I was gonna say, I guess, like, that just goes to show you, talent or not in this world, it's really just like what you're gonna choose to do with your life. I seen a meme that was like, YouTubers as soon as they hit 500k or 1 million subscribers, and it was obviously talking about the Dr. Disrespect stuff and everything going on, and Mr. B, just all of that, and it was like, yeah, time to text kids. It's just so dark. That dude, he went to jail. I think he went to jail. Yeah, he was arrested at 23. That's crazy. I'm 24. I turned 24 this April, so that's crazy. I don't know. I just don't pass images of little kids around. I don't know.
Clerds.
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
Clerds. Where do I begin with Clerds? It's a rather infamous video uploaded in 2007 by a YouTube user named JT Bruder, and the description reads, "A celebration of furry art featuring my best friend. I love you, Nimbus. Come back soon, bro." And then a crying kitty face. The actual video itself is this slideshow set to the tutorial music from Vip.
Why did it blur though? I'm gonna take my hoodie off. Why did it blur? Why do we immediately got a blur next? Come on now. Why do we have a blur?
ribbon of all things, and featuring some of the worst, most poorly drawn, and most depraved fetish art the furry fandom has ever seen. It then ends with a play again screen, which implies that this is a re-uploaded Flash animation, and a copyright disclaimer that says all right is copyright to the artists. Don't steal, or they will take legal action. An interesting message, since they kinda just did that with the creation of this video.
Nice.
You would think this is all I have to say about this video, but there's a bit more meat to it. For starters, the generally
Disgusting. There's a bit more meat to it. This dude.
accepted theory is that this is a video made by a furry celebrating their furriness. However, I beg to differ, and I think that this is rather a
Don't tell me it's gonna be like some sort of tribute or some sort of thing that's like they're fantasizing their friend or something in fur sonas, and is it something like that?
troll making fun of furries, since I don't think an actual furry would cherry pick the art that the video cherry picks. How the description reads more facetious than genuine, saying that it's a celebration of furry art featuring their best friend Nimbus, who's apparently gone for whatever reason. My theory is that this Nimbus person just stopped talking to the uploader after being made fun of. Another video exists on the channel called For Nimbus that features a slideshow of this character set to Up Where We Belong by Joe Crocker and Jennifer Warnes. Truly beautiful. I found a thread by Twitter user Silver Crystals where they go a bit deeper into the rabbit hole. They found another account called Foxtailed, which is most likely an alt or another friend, and they uploaded a near identical video to the last called Tribute, which simply had different music. They also found Nimbus's Fur Affinity and DeviantArt accounts, and they poked around a bit, seeing the artwork that was featured in the videos. Now, judging from Clerd's and all of its vulgarity and weirdness, you might think that this Nimbus guy is some kind of sex freak degenerate. But as it would turn out, he was just some guy who had an interest in writing and music, and even explicitly stated in his bio that he dislikes prawn and yiffing, which is old internet speak for porn and furry porn. With all that being said, I still don't know much about JT Bruder, so I'm sticking with my hypothesis that he's just some troll who slandered Nimbus, making one of the strangest videos that exemplifies pretty much everything wrong with the furry community in his honor. So that pretty much solves the mystery of one of the weirdest entries thus far. I still don't know what the fuck a Clerd is, though.
I don't know. I don't want to know what a Clerd is, but
Hannah Sabata was a 19-year-old woman from Nebraska who ran a YouTube channel called Jelly Beanie that uploaded fairly mundane videos that are typical of the time period, playing with her dog, a baby, and also hanging out with her friends, in a video you couldn't convince me isn't a deleted scene from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. In 2012, she uploaded a video called Chick Bank Robber.
that was so accurate. No way, this is not. Don't. Are we about to like transition into this being real? She robbed the bank.
Where she bragged to her viewers about robbing a bank. While this could easily be some dumb joke or skit or something, she assured viewers that it was absolutely real, holding up the wad of cash that she says is over.
Why is she gonna be like rappers who snitch on themselves in their songs? Why would you upload? I'm not giving any advice, but if you got away with robbing a bank, why would you? Why would you brag? I don't know about y'all out there. My first instinct would be leave the country, or like, I mean, look, like the number that popped up said like 7K. Bro, in some countries you wouldn't have to return if you play your cards right. I'm just saying. Little gnats. Is there two of them? Why are you guys in here, man? It must be because I brought the peanut butter. Anyways.
$6,000, as well as keys to a car that she apparently stole. She's even wearing the same outfit she wore on the bank surveillance cameras. She apparently did so because, in her own words, the whole system is a game, whatever that means, and more importantly, the government stole her baby.
I mean, she's not wrong at that part, but see, when certain people say things like that, you kind of question where they're saying that from. You know, never mind. Yeah.
Charging her with neglect. Yeah, that baby video I showed you guys, that was actually her child. Not a sibling or cousin or anything like that, but her own. A baby she had.
Wait, the money looks fake, though. Yeah, wait, it kind of looks fake. I don't know if money had that print. Are those hundreds? Because, I mean, I guess my mind is jumping to what hundreds kind of look like now, but also the video has a very weird filter over it. But again, what if she just placed the filter because it's fake money?
had at no more than 18 years old.
And the bills look kind of big, like some Dollar Tree money.
Anyways, police quickly found out about the video where she admitted to robbing a bank, and almost needless to say, arrested her for robbing a bank, in possibly one of the dumbest and most obvious criminal admissions ever. She was convicted and sentenced to 10 to 20 years in prison, so it's possible that she could have gotten out by now. However, in 2020, she assaulted a prison guard in jail, thereby extending her sentence.
Heck nah.
What an idiot.
She really, wait, so that was real money? It looked fake.
Bisnogium,
I guess, right?
or its English title, Legless, is a video uploaded in 2009 by a channel called Mr. Fox Anonymous. But according to some Google translated Russian wikis I found, the video is most likely older than that. It's this strange slideshow of images of rabbits alongside weird questions and creepy music.
What are the
Occasionally
questions?
appearing throughout the video is the word dosmot, followed by a question mark. This word, from what I can gather, is complete nonsense, and the only thing that shows up when I search it is articles relating to this specific video. Maybe some Russian viewers can correct me on this in the comment section, I don't know. In any case, the background behind this video is that this allegedly played on SGU TV, a Russian educational network, during some kind of TV channel hijacking. This backstory is very similar to the Wyoming incident, an ancient YouTube ARG that I already covered.
The Wyoming
In fact, according
incident.
to this wiki reality page, this video is actually a parody making fun of the Wyoming incident, which pretty much explains everything. One last thing I'd like to say that's a little off topic, but I learned through research for this entry that Russian people call Photoshop edits photozhabas, which translates to photo frogs. I'm not really sure of the history behind this, but Google Translate told me people have made photo frogs about this video, and I thought it was funny.
That's great. Ref batch?
Anna Matskevich is a middle-aged Russian woman who began uploading to YouTube
We're staying on the Russian theme, I see.
in 2008 under the username RefBatch. Though her channel is now deleted, for around a decade she uploaded constantly, with her videos totaling 100,000 before her suspension, and she also has a newer channel called You Don't Know You Know, You Know You Don't, that currently stands at 86,000. About half of her videos are vlogs, if you can call them that, where she talks into the camera almost unintelligibly in a weird mix of Russian and English, that even individuals who are
He said Russia English.
fluent in both have a lot of difficulty even understanding what she's saying. Although her tone is crystal clear, she seems very angry about something in almost all of them. When people do make out the shit she's saying, it seems very paranoid and most likely schizophrenic, saying that she was afraid of her government and that they won't leave her alone, and that she's been...
See, when I see videos like this, it gets too, like, to me, I just feel like I'm viewing a video I shouldn't be viewing, bro. Doesn't just something just turn you off from the scene? I think I might be blocking it. I'm not blocking it. 100% no, I'm in the bottom right corner. I just...
been abducted against her will by the Kremlin. Her other videos consist of interpretive dances, and people
I feel like I'm seeing something I shouldn't be seeing, man.
out through
Now I can't get it out of my consciousness. Great.
that information that she actually has a history of being a dance performer, stopping around the time she joined YouTube. Without a doubt, she developed some form of mental illness, and that caused her to no longer be able to upkeep her career, being relegated to a life of posting weird videos on YouTube. However, there's an even darker possible explanation. A man by the name of Maxim Belov, who claimed...
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's probably getting... Oh, I'll let him read it, but...
to be Anna's husband,
I think.
has posted many videos of her on several accounts, which are named things like ABCDEFG and A. In these descriptions, he tells us a story about how Anna was detained by the Russian government for speaking out on their oppressive regime on August 15th, 2014.
No
She was
way,
allegedly sent
bro.
to a psychiatric institution against her will, which, to be fair, is actually something that the Russian government is known to do, inducing mental illness in the minds of political dissenters.
Don't tell me they like reconstructed her conscious. Like she's like been basically like, what is it called? Kind of like the Outlast, like some MK Ultra re-educating camp, psychological flash images in your face make you submit type.
Especially in 2014, when there were a lot of anti-war protests following Russia's declaration of war against Ukraine. There are even reports of the Russian government giving people pills in psychiatric hospitals that only make their mental conditions worse and worse. While this date admittedly doesn't line up with Ref Badge's channel starting in 2008, according to her, she's been the target of governmental harassment for a very long time. In short, it's entirely possible that Anna Matskevich spoke up against the Russian government, and they didn't like that, so they gave her quote-unquote treatment that turned her into the woman we see before us today. Or, you know, she's just schizophrenic.
Or
That's
she's
also a possibility.
Or she's just schizophrenic. See, but that's odd. When that's so odd. I'm not
Skippy
gonna say
Shorts is a YouTube channel that's run by Near Far Productions, created all the way back in 2006. Starring a puppet named Skippy, voiced by Greg Harrisberg, known for his work on, Skippy Shorts. It's a pretty classic web series where he does stuff like retelling stories, answering fan mail, and interacting with other characters. I'm kind of surprised it never received the attention its contemporaries reached, being all the way down here in tier 7, while I would expect it to be somewhere in tier 3 or 4. That being said, the channel does have a cult following with a dedicated wiki and fan art. Surprisingly, the channel has uploaded as recently as a year ago. Which
why did one of the fan art pictures have like one of the characters had a red circle around him? What is going on, bro? I almost don't want to go back to the picture.
isn't recent, but still more so than I would have thought.
What are you thinking?
What Are You Thinking is a weird video uploaded to YouTube in
ARG
2015 by a user named I'm Dazed. This video has a description where he tells a story of how he found it. Apparently, he found an old IBM computer tower at a garbage dump in his hometown that he was hanging out around, like you do.
Like you
and
do?
It featured a weird video called What Are You Thinking.avi. The video has this guy sitting in front of a camera in a bathtub with a bag around his head.
Him.
And wearing what seems to be a trash bag while he starts jittering and moving towards the camera. Then he starts spreading some mysterious fluid on his face, which could either be blood, shit, or really anything else with that consistency. The video then ends with him holding up a sign that says, "What are you thinking?" The video is obviously a kind of terrible attempt at a creepypasta and is clearly just made by the guy who wrote the story. I really hope that isn't shit, by the way. I thought all the scat stuff was saved for like 2 tiers down.
Yeah, that would actually be really, really nasty. I'm thinking it's like melted chocolate or something, right? Right? You know, I want to believe that melted chocolate mixed with like some liquid coffee. Come on now. Let's go with that.
Cryp Dan Dance is a video uploaded in 2013 by Piotr Cannabis, meant as a music video for his song of the same name. It features creepy music with a voiceover telling you it's okay to scream when you're scared, and the visuals are just this weird white 3D face that contorts its proportions and body parts. Not much else to say about the video itself, just kind of meant to be creepy. But what's interesting is that the footage is actually taken from one of the first 3D animations ever made. It's from faces and body parts from 1974. While it does look creepy and maybe kind of funny nowadays, this was a ridiculously impressive animation for the time period.
It made me laugh. Danker Beef?
Danker Beef is a YouTube channel that began uploading in 2017, and most of their videos were just memes that they would make that weren't really that bizarre for the time period. However, as their videos progressed and I guess their editing skills improved, their videos kept getting weirder and weirder. I mean, their first video was a cat playing piano with the Mr. Krabs Saddest Violin overlaid on top, and, you know, they did the GameCube opening thing, some funny cat videos, even a fucking bongo cat meme. Jesus, really showing their age here. But their videos took a turn for the strange when they made Nelson's Brother, which is some straight up Syriac shit. As commenters have pointed out, I can't imagine being the owner of the dog and then seeing someone make this. Danker Beef would continue with this style of video editing for the rest of their YouTube career, slowly transitioning from memes to these surrealist memes to just straight up surrealism. I don't even know how to begin to describe his later content, just being utterly bizarre entirely. His most recent video, that isn't a re-upload, is titled Ampersand Ampersand, not to be confused with the game of the same name, which doesn't even have any trace of humor or anything. It's just this. What a strange transition. This video by David OReilly was uploaded in 2012 and features a 3D animation of a pale woman sitting in a room as she begins shoving her hair into her mouth. Making gross guttural noises as the video progresses. Some might view this as yet another 3D animation that doesn't really stand out around.
The thumbnails, bro, that I'm about to get, bro.
Around all the others.
I can't,
However, other more
I think I got the 4 images.
Viewers who have great taste in cartoons might recognize this as a clip from the Season 5 Adventure Time episode A Glitch is a Glitch, where the Ice King sends Finn and Jake a cursed video that causes their computer, and subsequently the whole world to glitch out. This episode was done by David OReilly, who again is the uploader, so that tracks. He's also well known for making everything the game. I actually really like the addition of this on the Iceberg, as I'm a big fan of the show, and it's also a sort of parody of these kinds of videos, but it just loops back around to being one of those videos in the end. I don't know, I just think it's kind of funny.
That's actually pretty cool. I don't remember that. I love
Analise Michelle was a German woman born in 1952 who was raised in a Catholic family. When she was 16 years old, she experienced a seizure and was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy and later depression. As the years progressed, she would soon have more and more episodes and also hallucinations, allegedly hallucinating knocking at her bedroom door, and whispering voices telling her she's going to rot in hell, and she was even seen convulsing with anger at the sight of religious items such as crucifixes. She and her family both told doctors and Catholic priests.
No, you know that, see, okay, immediately when you hear she was young and her family was raised Catholic, it's like, to me, come on now, that's kind of like, come on now, like, so the images and stuff she started getting and hallucinating were telling her that she was gonna rot in hell. There's something darker behind that, because the images are coming from somewhere. It has to be a learned behavior. There's no way she just started like hallucinating this stuff. Somebody played a role. It sounds like she was low-key abused, but let's see.
That she believed she was possessed by the devil, and they both told her to simply continue with medical treatment rather than any form of exorcism. However, the church eventually gave in, and Father Ernst Alt declared she was indeed inflicted with demonic possession, and would decide to have her undergo an exorcism, or rather...
Did she inspire some of the stories we see today with, like, this stuff?
There are a series of exorcisms, 67 of them to be exact.
Wow.
These would happen over the course of 1975 to 1976.
Oh my
And at her
gosh.
own request, she would refuse medical treatment, only resorting to the exorcisms conducted by the church. How this plays into YouTube is that a lot of these sessions would be conducted with a microphone present, and all of the existing recordings are up on YouTube, available for you to listen to.
Hell nah.
These recordings would have Analise speaking in the most guttural voice imaginable, thought to be the demon residing within her body, speaking and screaming to the priests, saying things like how it would reside in Analise's body until she dies, and even claiming that the demons identified themselves as biblical demons such as Lucifer, Cain, Judas, Belial, Legion, Nero, and Adolf Hitler. Yeah, one of those things is not like the others.
He said, yeah, one of those things. I love Swag, bro. That shit is funny. Yeah, well, okay. I'll keep it going.
As the exorcisms progressed, she began refusing food and water more and more, subjecting herself to a state of near starvation for a whole year, and eventually succumbing in 1976, dying aged 23 from malnutrition and dehydration.
Crazy. I'm 20, like, just turned 24. That's crazy. It's incredibly young, man.
Analise's parents, as well as 2 priests, were convicted of negligent homicide.
Her parents were convicted of negligent homicide, yeah, see? Because I don't feel like those images just come out of nowhere. And I don't want to get weird in the video, but it's like, I'll just say I've had some supernatural experiences where I've had certain entities come and try to visit me for a good time, let's just say, and it was much different from what I was told, let's just say, growing up, or the certain things that you could see, because, you know, I guess, right, I would say just easily understood. I come from a Christian background, but my family wasn't like going to church or anything, so I kind of had freedom of like whatever I believe. That's just my background. But immediately when I hear like things like this where it's like they have epilepsy or something like that, or frontal lobe things, just like a thing that's happening to the brain, something occurring, and then they come from a raised Catholic type family, and then it's like more serious than just like me, because you can't even say I was raised Christian, because it's like I wasn't. It's just like that's what's on paper. I don't even know if that's on paper for families, maybe, but you know, it's like that where you're not gonna hear me raised Christian. So when I heard raised Catholic and I heard her little thing going on with her brain, I was like, no, that's a recipe for disaster. Like, because it almost feels like the parents had some sort of, because like your brain can be programmed, man. Come on, let's go there. Holographic universe, you guys can't see it, it's sitting right by me, right there. You gotta look at dark psychology, look at all these books. Your brain is programmed, dude, and it's like, it doesn't feel like she just heard that she was gonna rot in hell out of nowhere. I don't know. Like, it feels like and this is just me adding my own headcanon to her story. And also respect on her, you know, her passing and everything. But I feel like she overheard a conversation from her parents, like outside her door or something one day while she was suffering. That, like, because I see this with people who are heavily into religion. I'm not saying they are, because this would even be throwing at like accusations on them. But think about this. One night or some of the nights while she's going through this, you know, you have those certain parents that are like, man, what are we going to do to help our daughter? Or like, maybe they're so into their religion that they're like, you know, our daughter's imperfect. Like, what can we do? Like, no, we gotta like she's just like, read the Bible. Like, she's like, you know, like they think like that. I don't want to say what I'm saying, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, you know, like religious fanatics. So let me go a little bit back to see if this is going to confirm it.
Dying age 23 from malnutrition and dehydration. Analyse's parents as well.
They probably just got charged because, like, I mean, they gave in to the shit, but let's see.
As 2 priests were convicted of negligent homicide. Today, many consider what Analise went through to be simply...
Wait, hang on. What's I wrong?
And eventually
did I
succumbing
hear
in
wrong?
1976. Dying age 23 from malnutrition and dehydration. Analyse's parents, as well as 2 priests, were convicted of negligent homicide.
Okay.
Today, many consider what Analise went through to be simply an extreme case of mental illness, and German bishops have since retracted claims that she was ever possessed. Her story has resulted in 3 whole films, such as 2005's The Exorcism of Emily Rose, 2006's Requiem, and 2011's Analise, The Exorcist Tapes.
Okay, so it was based on her. So yeah, like I'm gonna say, I feel like what she was going through, like, because I definitely bet that what you hear or just what you're brought up in can make psychological issues worse. And I should have just said that. I've met this one girl who I used to hang out with who told me, like, she was it was a cult. Like, it was like literally like a cult. Now imagine growing up having like psychological things going on with you, and also being in things that are heavily, you know, being around people that maybe fear the devil or going to hell and stuff like that. And then you are like around that as someone who's not all the way there. They got some condition. It's like you could pick up that side chatter, you know, if it's not directly the parents saying like, oh, our daughter is like imperfect. I was just going to the extremes. But now imagine if there were some conversations or things that she heard where it's like, oh man, that's the devil in our daughter. Like, and like, it's like, yeah, I can see that there's something in the background that don't really add up right there.
Laughing Sailor is a video uploaded in
2008 here we go.
by YouTube user Terrapin Joe. It's 49 seconds of 5 of these strange machines that resemble humans, laughing their asses off in the uploader's living room as he pans around and gets close-ups of their faces.
Can we not say these things resemble humans? Especially with the quality of the video? No.
According to the description, the uploader actually constructed all of these himself.
That's actually sick, though.
This video is also the only video on Terrapin Joe's entire channel. Doing a small bit of digging, we can find out these laughing sailors are actually a coin-operated machine from the mid-20th century, and that these
resemble humans, bro. Nah.
Were everywhere in arcades, amusement parks, and fairs. Which, I'm quite happy that they kind of fell out of style, because, like, what the fuck?
Please come back to me.
Please come back to me as a video.
I've seen this image. I've seen people use this image
uploaded by a channel called Battyton that features this distorted woman's face talking to her husband, an off-screen person named Martin, about how he's become a monster or something, I guess. I don't really understand what's going on here, which is probably for good reason, as actually episode 20 of an analog horror web series called Harmony and Horror, which, like, I could go into detail about, but I'm honestly just not going to.
Follow Me.
Follow Me is a video uploaded by British YouTube user Love is Asleep, also known as Amor Triste, and was a pain in the ass to
Amor Triste sounds fire.
Research for because it got taken down from YouTube at some point, and the only re-upload I could find has like 100 views. And it's not like the name Follow Me is a very uncommon thing to name something. Anyways, it appears to be a short film about a woman who gets stalked by this serial killer who's wearing this weird mask. It starts out with old-timey film.
This is Scarecrow's Walgreens version cousin. I messed that up so bad. But you get what I'm saying? It's like Scarecrow's lesser.
Footage.
This is who Scarecrow sends out to distract Batman.
And then cuts this manifesto type video where he explains that he's been stalking someone and how he may or may not plan to kill them. And the last part of the video shows us him actually committing the act of stalking. I believe this is part of a 3-part series called Follower, but since the account was deleted, I'm gonna hold off on trying to find the other 2 parts and leave it to you, the viewer, if you're so inclined.
Planemic, the hidden agenda behind. Oh, if he says it, I wonder if your video gets tagged anymore. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Planemic, the hidden agenda.
Oh, this is on tier 7. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this one's confusing.
Behind COVID-19 is a video or film or whatever you want to call it that was uploaded to YouTube by film director Mickey Willis and published by Elevate Films on May 4th, 2020. As you could probably guess from
The video got copyright claims, so you're just gonna have to imagine what this movie looks like.
the title alone, it was a film that revolved around the conspiracy theory that the COVID-19 outbreak did not happen naturally, as many sources would have you believe, but rather was a bioweapon for world governments to control the population or otherwise benefit their ulterior motives. It features Judy Mikovits, a discredited American researcher that claims specifically that vaccines are a quote-unquote money-making enterprise that causes medical harm, and also that the pandemic has resulted in the loss of free speech and free choice somehow. It also promotes the idea of parents choosing not to vaccinate their children. There was, according to sites like Science Magazine, Snopes, and PolitiFact, a ridiculous amount of misinformation presented as fact within the 26-minute runtime, like that flu vaccines contain coronaviruses in them, or that hospitals receive money if a patient dies and they lie and say it was COVID-19 that killed them, or even that wearing a mask makes you more susceptible to the virus rather than less.
What I'm gonna say is, like, regardless of your beliefs or anything that happened, no, I'm not gonna touch on it right now.
Because you're breathing in your own particles or something. That last one I think is especially insane. The video actually reached a lot of people and is widely regarded as one of the most infamous and widespread pieces of COVID-19 misinformation. Plandemic reached over 1 million views on YouTube before being taken down by staff, and they even said they plan to remove videos supporting the claims made, specifically mentioning the wearing a mask makes you more sick thing. It was also spread on Vimeo and Facebook, both of which removed it for violating misinformation policies. Twitter blacklisted certain hashtags like #PlandemicMovie and #PlagueOfCorruption, and it was even spread through Google Drive, which action was also taken against. This kinda led to a Streisand effect, since attempting to hide information.
The Streisand effect is an unintended consequence of attempting to hide or remove sensitive information where effort instead backfires, increasing awareness of that information. Oh,
Even
yeah.
if it is verifiably false. Well,
The thing I was gonna hold back is, if you guys know about me, whether you believe it or not, it's okay. It's experiences that I go through. So if people believe in the supernatural or not, that's not my job or my room to convince you. You'll go through what you go through in life. You believe what you believe. But for almost a half a year to a year straight, I kept seeing my grandma die. Tried to tell everyone. This plays into my whole backstory of getting called the devil because she died on the day I knew she would die, when she would die, how she would die, and how everyone wouldn't be able to see her. And I knew what she would die from and what they would lie and say it was. And what he said is exactly what I went through. My grandma was tested multiple times, and I'm not going to say anything or make any firm claims. She was tested multiple times. They all came back negative, because my family would go with her to get these things done and see her results. Negative every single time. So you're telling me I got all these visions of when she was going to die. She died when I said she was going to die. And I knew what they were going to say the effect or what the cause of death was. And every time, I think she got like tested like 3 different times for if she had this. And every time it came back negative. Official death report was that. So to me, not that I take too much heart in it or too much like stance in it. I want to stand up and I think it was planned. I do know there's a lot of weird stuff going on with it. And you should already know by now that a lot of conspiracy theories are just conspiracies until proven true. They're all theories until stuff comes out that's like, oh, okay, so people weren't bugging on this topic. And what I'll say is, at least for me, yeah, that part of it is close to my heart because that confirmed for me that certain people were dying around the time. I mean, at least personally seeing it with my own eyes, I wouldn't put it past them to just say certain people died of COVID. I remember getting really sick. Look, there's a video of an MIT. Well, he was in MIT, but he was like an MIT neurosurgeon or something. Look up the video where he left the medical industry because he realized that they're not actually trying to heal people. It's again, another $1 billion or $1 million industry where they sell you the sickness to cure you. So that just shows you more of like what's going on. So to me, who knows what the real story is, but what I know to always keep in my mind is just like everything is, especially because of the kind of the life I live with being like partially, I'm not even gonna say partially, bro. I'm saying partially to like not weird anyone out that is hearing this about me in the channel now, but I'm psychic. So like, to me, it's like, yeah, I know there's stuff they hide. So it's like, I can't ignore that. And when I have the opportunity to talk about it, I will. But I definitely feel like there were definitely a lot of deaths that could have been around that time that they just marked as this and or as what was going on. But what could be the benefit? I don't know. You could make many arguments for what could be the benefit of doing this, or you can make many arguments for it being a stretch. I don't know. At the end of the day, this is why I always saying you're in my videos to just be your authentic self, be you, live to the best of your abilities and love the ones around you. Cause like whoever is in control of this plane right here of existence, this realm, they've got backdoors and everything that nobody would be able to crack. And the moment you try to crack, they would already be cracking down on you. So who knows who would even be able to get close.
Will only lead to the unintended consequence that'll get more and more popular. Thereby, it spread to more alternative platforms like BitChute, which I mentioned in the last video. Planemic then had 2 sequels, Planemic Indoctrination, and Planemic 3, The Great Awakening, which, I mean, yeah, they were probably pretty similar to the first one.
They went off. I didn't expect this documentary to see this here. That's strange.
This is Bob. Copy and paste him everywhere so he can take over YouTube.
I remember
this is one of the many different variations on the copy pasta known as This is Bob. It contains text and ASCII art of a stick figure and was most commonly used in order to spam the comment section of YouTube. Many viewers who are around YouTube around the early 2010s will remember this copy pasta quite vividly, as for a bit you could find on pretty much any comment section you looked at, anywhere across the website. So what was the deal? The origins are unclear, however Bob has been found on YouTube and elsewhere on the web as far back as 2009, with many forum posts and Yahoo Answers articles questioning what the spam means. Most people around this time hated Bob, as they were spam comments, and I don't think there's any form of online content that people hate more than meaningless spam, although he did have his supporters in the form of those who participated in the movement, as being part of something that quote-unquote took over YouTube. However, it is important to note that the wide majority of people hated this character and everything he represented. Reason being is that he didn't really represent anything. He was just a stickman who plagued the YouTube comment section and prevented any meaningful discussion about the video, as people were either posting the spam comments or posting comments complaining about the spam comments. As such, Bob kind of fell into obscurity over the course of the next 3 or so years, peaking in 2010 and slowly dwindling. Fast forward
one comment, spread Amy.
3 years later, and it was now the year 2013. This was around the time that YouTube was going through massive changes. More specifically, the integration of Google+, which I already covered, but for a recap, was a Facebook clone that Google introduced, and in order to get more people to use it, every single person who had a YouTube account would be forced to make a Google Plus account in order to comment on videos. This would also cause the comment section to go through a massive redesign as well, with top comments no longer being listed at the top, and other changes that resulted in many seeing the whole thing as inferior to what they once had. The YouTube commenters were furious, and in their anger, resorted to the one thing they knew best. Bob was back, and this time, he had a purpose, being the only symbol that the ever so chaotic comment section knew. This copypasta was edited, featuring ASCII art of tanks and other military-related imagery, and now read Bob is building an army. This Tank and Bob are against Google+. Copy and paste this all over YouTube if you're with us. It spread much further, with this second wave of Bob spam being on a far larger scale. Not only were people given a message to rally behind, but YouTube itself was also much larger and much more culturally impactful. There were news articles unironically written about Bob on the goddamn Washington Post. This might very well be one of the first times YouTube had ever gotten a lot of pushback from a site change, at least on this scale. Even Javed was against it, though I don't think he joined in on the Bob posting. It's quite funny because the whole change was done to push back against spam, and
See, when people come together like this for massive site changes, imagine what the world could do if everyone came together for stuff that, like, the recent topic was talking about. They would fear that level of unity, I'm telling you, but it'd be the simplest things that people come together over. A simple little copy pasta with a big message that we just don't like this change. And I'm assuming, right, the result was they took out the change, or at least made it a little slightly different, because you need a Google account for YouTube now, right?
people responded by spamming, effectively making Google's problem worse. So how does this story end? Well, Google Plus went pretty strong for a couple years, with YouTube staying as it was.
Okay,
However,
yeah.
2 years later in 2015, Google finally relented, and Google Plus profiles were no longer required to comment, and the integration was severed. Was this the result of Bob's army? Maybe? In 2013, YouTube admitted shortly after the integration that the change only boosted the level of spam that uploaders would receive, while their response was not to immediately go back, but rather to improve their detection and removal of ASCII art. The message was clearly sent. It wasn't going to work out. Nowadays, not only is Google Plus completely gone from YouTube, it's also gone just in general, as it shut down in 2019, with its shutdown being the final wave of Bob's influence.
See?
Arguably, there's no real evidence that the spam had anything to do with any major staff decision.
I mean, to me, in a timeline somewhere in this multiverse.
However,
this is probably the one.
That's what I like to think, though, because it's way more fun that way.
Exactly. CE444.
CE444565 is a video uploaded to YouTube in 2012 by a YouTube user whose username is a bunch of numbers. It features a bunch of occult imagery and other things that have led to conspiracy theories and whatnot, such as the Skull and Bones Fraternity, Freemasons, and the Bohemian Grove.
He said the Skull and Bones Fraternity and the Freemasons.
It's accompanied with a speech overlaid on top by Marshall Applewhite, the leader of Heaven's Gate.
Marshall Applewhite?
An early internet cult that was known for committing mass suicide.
Oh, yeah, Heaven's...
So what does any of this mean? Is this the start of an ARG? No, it's just a bunch of creepy shit haphazardly thrown together. Managed to spook a lot of people, though, especially since...
Look, what is this, some lizard creature?
It was
some salamander man?
uploaded so far back.
Well, we're at the 30-minute mark, and that is it for this part. We're going to divide them in half, as I always do. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I didn't yap too much on, that last topic, but that one sits in my heart because there are a lot of weird things that I think go on that I feel like if, just the right people got together, the right sorts of groups came together to really figure out what was going on, they'd be able to figure out what is going on. But I feel like that's part of the game. Like the girl who robbed the bank said, that's part of the system. Why would you post that, dude? That's crazy. But in all honesty, I think a lot of how everything works, even when it comes to the internet, is like, well, but the internet's really free, is that it's just still this expanding idea of divide and conquer, distract media. Whoever has their hand in the media, push out propaganda, fake stories, distract this, keep people looking, never, really going within, thinking about how they could really impact change. I can go on all day about that, but it's just I don't even go into those conversations anymore, because it's just it seems like one step ahead, to keep your peace, you can't even think about this stuff. And then at the same time, sometimes it's just tough not to pop up in your mind every once in a while, because it's right in front of your face. And I'm talking, y'all probably understand when I'm talking about the things that go on the world stage altogether. But this is why we have each other in moments like this, to have fun, look at YouTube icebergs, and enjoy it until the wheels fall off, I guess. It's all about love, y'all. Love at the end of the day is always gonna win and always gonna be. And I believe the universe has this balancing effect in play, even if it's a reset. That like some of these large entities doing stuff will reap what they sow. Anyways, much love, Moonlight. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys for the next part. This one was enjoyable. Peace.